easier after testnet 3. We've been working really hard on adding support for DVM, and I was very happy to officially announce it just a few weeks ago as an element of our official roadmap. And so this is where it's going to be shipped. So there's going to be a first version of the EVM support in testnet number 3. It's already working on the main branch to some extent. We're adding features like composability between EVM applications, linera application, WASM applications. And so this is all going to be ready, at least in the initial version in testnet 3, which will make linera already an EVM chain and really demultiply, like exponentially multiply the kind of applications you can code on linera. Our mindset here is that there are so much applications that are written for the EVM, in particular in DeFi. It could be a lot of code. People put a lot of efforts auditing Solidity, so paying for the security audits, and typically they don't want to port that to other frameworks. Even if we love Rust, I think it's a beautiful language, probably better than Solidity, to be honest. But when you have a huge code base in Solidity that has been already audited and is used in production, you don't want to change it. So we're going to support that use case. And people are going to be able to experiment very soon on the main branch and officially in the testnet number 3 in a couple of months. At the same time, we also want people to be able to connect a wallet that has an EVM address. And so that's why we are researching right now. And we think that's going to be part of the testnet number 3 as well. So ideally, you would have as a MetaMask user, you'll be able to connect to a linera, the browser extension of linera and the linera application, and be able to sign linera blocks. So we're trying really to reduce the friction for new users. And it's going to be a very interesting piece of that. Okay, so and then on the core protocol, obviously we still have lots of ideas to improve the scalability on the client side, to make the protocol better, like more upgradable. So that's just for us to be able to ship more modifications, including after mainnet. So we don't want things to be like impossible to upgrade forever. So there's going to be some preliminary step. We want to also, so that's a very interesting feature. So the chain as a service idea. So when we talk to other layer ones, for instance, like Sui, they see the differences between linera, the things that we can do, for instance, like downloading data from a blob storage. And that creates an idea that there's a use case for hybrid applications where you have, you are already programming in Sui, but you want to do a piece of work, a piece of a task, in linera. Maybe you want to download the blob from Walrus and you want to apply a validation function. And so, but your app and maybe your users, they are mainly in Sui. And so basically we're saying, yeah, that's fine. What you're going to do is your user are going to create a transaction in Sui, and through a native bridge, potentially in the future, and through this feature here, the chain as a service idea, we're going to be able to create a micro chain in linera directly. So the idea is to be able to create chains very easily, including from external systems, so that people can quickly be onboarded and use linera for a specific task in the context of a hybrid application. And then, of course, yes, on the infrastructure side, so testnet 3, we're going to really, expect some announcement before that, but we are going to make a high TPS a very big priority and roll out some configuration and guidelines for validators to be able to really max out the TPS in testnet. And then also we are going to roll out some indexers, some indexing framework, and work with partners to provide block explorers. We also want to archive our blocks. So there's going to be a first version of that, hopefully for testnet 3. So yeah, we don't have a global block explorer right now in linera, which is perhaps surprising, but it's also a consequence of the fact that we don't rely on block indexing for most applications. Block indexing is not in the critical path. So we are able to make all those games and demos and all the cool applications without any RPC provider, But of course, at some point, you also want to be able to browse the blocks, and that's going to be made possible by this feature that we've started working on and is going to be ready in testnet number 3. All right, okay, almost there. Testnet number 4, that's the one just before mainnet. So obviously the roadmap is going to be made more precise, but we want to stabilize EVM, want to stabilize perhaps a notion of scripts to combine operation. I mean, make the blocks a little more expressible. Upgradability for applications was one topic that I thought could also go there. And then on the core protocol side, finalizing governance, just getting ready for mainnet, probably some security audits, at least starting them, and then mainnet. So after mainnet, there's going to be a long tail, of course, of improvements on the infrastructure, on the core protocol, adding some auditing protocols, improving performance. We just look forward to be there, honestly, to being there and improving the protocol. We have a design that supports dynamic sharding, so we can have like full elastic validators. We can have geographically sharded validators, meaning that we could ask our validators to be present in a number of continents to make sure that latency is minimal for all users. And the idea is that, for instance, if I transfer assets, I'm in New York, and I'm transferring assets or interacting with an auction system that is also in New York, for which the users are also in New York. Well, what we would say is tell the linera validators, hey, why don't, if you have a data center in New York, all of you, then for that kind of interaction, all the networking stays in New York. And so suddenly you got this super low latency, and combined with the design of linera that is already low latency, you can really break the records. So really excited about this design, and it's kind of already there. Basically, we just need to do it. Okay, and native bridges.